Jay Allen's Petty and Ill-Informed Podcast. Recorded live weekly on YouTube.
Yeah, see, I prefer the other one.
It should be good there, Richard.
Yeah, that was good, but you know.
Yeah, I know you.
I missed the old one. That was good. That was a good piece of work.
I understand that, mate. But I mean, I can only do what I can do. And I will try it something again. I told you I was having vertigo this week and I didn't do crap. So there you are. So
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed Podcast. Joining us, finally, after a 3-month porn hiatus, Niki.
Hey.
And
I don't have any excuse.
Well, no, what I was wondering is how many sequels to Askgasms did you make this time?
So many.
Oh yeah,
Askgasms 23. That's what we're working on right now.
Yeah, I really feel like the series found its voice after Askgasms 11. The story began to become a lot more compelling.
Right, the characters became, more fleshed out.
Perfunctory and just boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no longer just stick and ass. There's content now.
There's content. There's an actual plot. There's there's feels. There's emotions.
Exactly.
It becomes pretty watchable in parts.
There's laughing, crying, choking.
Okay, so we watched Black Mirror last week after you said that thing.
Was it not the most shit season you've ever seen of Black Mirror?
Okay, well, I still don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. After the Prime Minister porked a pig, the pig porked episode, I was kind of like, on the fact that he didn't have to do it because the lady was already released and.
You had never seen it before in the first place.
No, I'd never seen any of it.
Oh my gosh! So you started out okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Boy, there's a lot of sex in these." But
some of them.
So anyway, so is the whole idea about it is that it is supposed to show the negative image of our life.
Technology, basically, it's like a Twilight Zone for technology.
Right.
Yeah, there's always some kind of lesson involved most of the time, like warning us about technology or
Well, I found that episode to be not unreal in a way.
Oh yeah, most of them feel incredibly, like there's what is it called? It's the one with Opie's daughter, Ron Howard's daughter.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is based on a rating system. So if you go below so much ratings, you can't. Yeah, nosedive. Nosedive is actually happening in certain parts of the world where if your score isn't high enough, you can't do certain things. You can't get a place to live. You can't get a job. That kind of thing.
Right.
So but it's.
Don't you remember about 15 years ago? When Boris Johnson and all the people, because like most of the people who are in British government, like went to the same school at the same time and everything. I think there was like 5 of them. And didn't they get accused of like having sex with a pig as some kind of initiation, right? Whenever they were in. Yeah. So I look at it like, probably based on actual events.
I only like one episode from the first season, so
yeah.
I don't care for the Prime Minister one, and I don't care for the Jodie Whittaker one with the memories. But I love 15 Million Merits. That episode
is good.
Is possibly my favorite episode of Black Mirror.
Well, I thought it was good whenever the lady tries to get on to like whatever that version of like American Idol is.
Yeah,
that was 15 Merits.
That's 15 Million Merits.
Oh,
that's literally my favorite episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah,
well, it's up there.
That made a lot of sense. But anyway, I won't keep it on it. So Anyway, so I was telling you. Do you want me to go into it right now before we go into the serious stuff? So
Yeah.
so like this week, so I was at my son's house, and he said he was talking about the submarine thing, and I said, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know how crazy that is, where you come up with that kind of an idea and all that stuff. And he said, so we went over to this thing. He lived on the side of a cliff that you can see the sea and everything like that. And he pointed down to the building and he says, that's where they make it, or that's where they store it. And I'm like, you're joking, dude. And he goes, no. So we drove down and saw it. It's on a jetty and it's just in some, it's behind a brewery in like this storage shed is where they built and keep the Titan submarine, the ocean thing submarines. And I just thought that was really, really weird because, but anyway, it is not, it looks permanently closed at this point in time.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine they've gotten much good publicity over this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently,
if you want to go 200 and spend that much money to go to your death.
Well, yeah.
I mean, some people might be that morbid. Like, I got $250,000 in a death wish.
Well, look at it this way.
The Titanic before I.
Yeah.
Maybe an anglerfish.
How much did Jack Kevorkian charge before you died in a van? I mean, I would rather dying in a van down by the river than implode on the way to the Titanic. I think that's an excellent point, Nikki.
I don't know. Imploding's the way to go. I mean, it's instant.
Yeah.
But if you get Kevorkianized, you just go to sleep and you don't wake up. So that's also fairly pleasant.
Yeah. But apparently something will implode faster than your brain even recognizes that it's happening, and before you feel any pain in your pain receptors.
Yeah.
So it's just like blinking out.
Yeah.
It's as instant can be.
So how was your week, Richard?
I had a very interesting experience last Sunday, for which I'm going to talk about because, it's a podcast and I want to share it. So, on Sunday, I woke up and I went for my usual jaunt around the village, a nice little early morning walk, get the cobwebs off. And as I was walking back to the house, I walked past our water butts on the side of the house. And in one of these water butts, there was a bat. And this bat was gripping to the side of the water butt for dear life. It had obviously fallen in during the night. And instead of drowning like they usually do, because this has happened before, it would manage to pull itself up onto the plastic and was gripping on. So I was like, okay, I should do something here. Now, I know you're not allowed to touch bats with your bare hands because their wing membranes are really super sensitive. And you could risk doing damage to it. So I got a bit of wood and I put it under the bat. I didn't try and move the bat. I put the wood under the bat and the bat clambered onto the wood and walked up it. So then I transferred the bat into a box with some straw and I put it in one of the outbuildings where it's nice and dark and cool, bats like it. And I made sure it had some dead bugs in the box. I don't know if bats can sense dead bugs, but I was like, well, I'm going to try and feed it. And I just left it. So a few hours go by and I go back and the bat's still there, but he's moving around the box. He seems a little more energetic now. It was getting dark, so I was like, well, okay, I guess I just got to let nature take its course here. So I wake up the next morning and I go down and the bat's gone.
Yay!
I check around the box. I can't see any dead bats on the floor. I check all around the outbuilding. I can't find any dead bats anywhere. So I have to assume the bat recovered and flew off during the night.
Well, That's really, really good. Because I would have not known that I couldn't handle the bat. I would have never known that. So it seems like the bat went either you or Roy Cropper from Coronation Street would have been the person who knew about bats.
I've never watched Coronation Street.
I know about bats, but then again, I'm just a huge fan. That's why I was like, yay.
Well, I know
because you need a special license in England to touch bats, and obviously not having that special license, and I don't even know how to handle them. I know that you're not allowed. I know you can handle them. I know there's a safe way of doing it, but I don't know what that way is, and I know you can't touch their wings because of their membrane's super sensitive, and even the oils in your skin can fuck a bat's wing up.
Same with butterflies.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to put it in a straw box, put it somewhere safe, and hope it survives, because there's nothing else I could do. I live out in the middle of nowhere. I don't think there's any vets around. And, there were open windows, so it could get in and out all right. So hopefully it just flew away.
Or a cat ate it.
No, a cat didn't eat it.
Dinner.
Come on, just that would ruin it. No, I was thinking that it was in shock. It probably was hypothermic. Went into the thing, started moving around, got back in regular shape, and said, "That's it. Thanks, mate. I'm out."
Thanks for saving me.
Yeah, it's like a drug in Germany. Whenever you're in the army, they find you hypothermic. They take you into the cell. You warm up for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 overnight. You get back up and you go back to base. I'm not saying that ever happened, but it seemed like it was.
It seems.
Yeah, it seems plausible.
It seems like a Kevin story, that, if I'm being honest. But yeah, without any evidence to the contrary, I'm going to assume the bat survived.
Right. Yep. Sounds good, man. I mean, I'm really glad that happened. Nikki, did you save a bat's life or any kind of? Last week, Tom was saving a big gull's life in his kitchen, and now Richard saved a bat's wings life. And did you save anybody's life?
I mean, I save people's vision every day.
Oh, that's good.
So
and she is a surgical technician. She does work with doctors.
With surgeons and everything. No, I mean, I save spiders on the fucking regular, but other than that, no.
Yeah. I'm always with you.
At work or at the house, I definitely will take them outside if they belong outside. If they're house spiders,
then you just flush them.
I don't. No, I'll either take them outside and feel really bad about it, or just get them out of my way.
Well, that's just part of the ecosystem. I think that you're just providing nutrition for some other part of the circle of life.
That's very true. I just hate for it to. It depends on the spider. Like if it's a jumping spider, I just don't want them to die ever. They're adorable. Other spiders can pretty much fuck off.
Yeah.
And I don't care. So yeah, jumping spiders and orb weavers, I will go out of my way to accommodate them. Other spiders, they go outside for the most part.
Well, brown recluse spiders and black widows, you got no time for them?
Yeah. No. Now I would be more apt to kill a brown recluse and not relocate it. A black widow, I'd probably relocate or just leave it. Like, if it's in my house, I'm relocating it. I'm probably not going to kill it.
When I lived in Colorado, we used to get like 5 or 6 black widows hibernating in the aircon unit, and I used to have to clear them out. They are incredibly pretty spiders.
They're beautiful. The first time I saw one, we were trying to get my nephew's stuff out of my shed, and we opened it up, and like just one huge black widow spider came out, and I was in shock. It looked like a marble. Like she was gorgeous, just black and shiny and just beautiful, beautiful spider, and that's probably another reason why I would have a hard time killing him. But
Yeah.
brown recluses can die.
Yeah.
I will save anything but a brown recluse.
Well, yeah, I mean but black widows do tend to hide in places that are not necessarily good for humans.
That's very true. But a lot of times it's not inside, and honestly, they're not super fucking aggressive.
No.
They're really, most of the spiders in the US, first of all, are of very little medical significance. Now, if you get bit by a bunch of brown recluses because you got your butt in a sleeping bag that's been in the garage or the closet for years and you didn't check it first, you can absolutely get sick and die. Same with black widows, but just one bite generally, and if you're a healthy person, it's not going to kill you.
Yeah, you know, I look at it like this. If you're going camping with a sleeping bag and you haven't aired that bad boy out, you know, if it's been packed in your house, even over the season, if you haven't like put up a clothesline and aired it out, you're kind of a disgusting person. I mean, I don't know.
They deserve to die.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, you know, cleanliness is next to godliness. Is what they used to say. But the whole idea of cleanliness actually saves your life at times. That's all. That's all.
It was that dude in, I don't know, Europe somewhere that wanted to handle. He was obsessed with spiders and black widows especially. And he wanted to handle his black widows the same way he handled tarantulas. And he got it into his head that, you know, repeated bites would make him immune. You know, there's that old wives' tale that if you get bit repeatedly by like rattlesnakes or venomous spiders, you'll eventually become immune, when in reality the reverse is true. Your body actually becomes more susceptible to the venom. You develop allergies to it.
Right.
But because venom is designed not to work that way.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, he kept letting his black widow bite him and died, and, you know, the spiders ate him. It's a bit of a tragic tale, but it made the Darwin Awards. So
yeah, I mean, it is. Wouldn't you think? Now, Richard, wouldn't you think? I mean, I understand that we live in post-truth, but wouldn't you think that you could look that up on the internet and find out that's not true? That, you know, actually,
but people believe that stuff, don't they? There's people in Texas on the internet that are rattlesnake rounders that, you know, hunt rattlesnakes for money, that genuinely believe that if they are bit repeatedly, eventually they'll become immune. And, you know, they don't understand that the reverse is true. They'll just become more susceptible to the venom because they've all got a friend of a friend of a friend who got bit a bunch of times and now is completely immune, even though they've never met this person.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy.
Yeah, exactly. My buddy's friend's cousin got bit like 90 times and now he's immune. Well, and I'm like, but it's just common sense to me. Venom is specifically designed to kill something. That's why there are venomous snakes and venomous spiders, you know, and venomous shrews. It's designed, you know, to kill something. If that thing they're trying to kill can eventually become immune because the thing they're specifically targeting is mammals, except for, now this is really interesting, and it actually leads some credence to yowies. The Northern Territory funnelback, one of the most poisonous spiders in the world, its venom is designed specifically to target primates, which is extremely weird, which suggests that this spider hates humans or yowies or something. But for some reason, maybe it's not specifically designed for primates, but it affects primates worse than other animals.
Right. And so they almost hate people as much as you do, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, they are not fans. But that's how venom works. You know, if the thing you're trying to kill, you know, because like, as I said, the thing they're mostly trying to kill is mammals, is, you know, going to develop a tolerance, then it's absolutely useless, really.
Right. Yeah.
So you'd think to yourself, well, this isn't going to be good if I get repeatedly bit. But loads of people believe that. That if they purposely envenomate themselves, they'll develop an immunity. I'm like, yeah, that's how bacteria works. That's how like stuff like that works. Germs and stuff. You will develop an immunity to that, or if not an immunity, you'll develop what's it called? Antibodies that will fight it more efficiently. But venom is like the exact opposite of that. You will not develop. I don't know. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No, you're all right. I mean, it's like the whole idea. If you don't wear a mask during a pandemic, you develop an immunity towards Democrats. Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure how it all works, but I know that there was an old Irish wives' tale that you could, if you cut yourself in a minor cut, that you could use a spider web to use that to close the cut. Like people would use, like if you cut yourself shaving, that you could actually use a spider web to put on your wound and it would sort of seal it. I don't know. I've never done that, but
I've never heard that before.
I have read it in an old Irish book that was from in Ireland. They had a rebellion in 1798, and it was in that book. So they tried to mimic the revolutions in France and America. Oh, that revolutionary France, Richard. The country that you love. Vive la France!
Forever.
Burning itself down as we speak.
Now why?
Race riots.
Oh,
I can really see that.
End of subjects.
Well, I mean, Paris has been a place of sort of race problems, really since the 1960s. I mean, whenever like Algerian people moved to France, because Algeria was a French colony. Yeah, it's just been a major problem. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, France hasn't had a lot of these issues and everything like that. It's terrible in times, when places you go. It's very sort of racially divided. And again, this is one of those things where if you are a policeman in Paris, they won't go into a neighborhood certain like that. I mean, there was more of a likelihood of a policeman going into a Catholic neighborhood in Belfast in the 1970s than there is policeman going into someplace
wearing a Union Jack hat.
Yes. Yeah. It's just, oh, by the way, I wanted to say, happy Canada Day. It's Canada Day in Canada. It's the Battle of the Somme day. It's Memorial Day, and the 4th of July is coming up. So I just want to get that out of the way before we talk about how screwed up France is.
Well, that's what happened in France anyway. A police officer shot a 17-year-old Nahil Mazouk, who was of Algerian descent, after a car chase during a traffic stop in Paris. And now they're calling it a race thing, and half the country is rioting. 1,300 people were arrested today. Happy Canada Day, A-NG.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Can you imagine, America would never not be rioting if it was like car chase through America, a black guy gets shot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we would have Happy Riot Day.
Happy Riot Day.
Yeah. I mean, in America now, we count things like, okay, today's mass shooting is brought to you by Waco, Texas.
Exactly. Just all the time. So, like, people, like, we still do have demonstrations and riots, especially, well, not riots. I call them demonstrations because Memphis has been very freaking classy about this. Even when no one else has been. Memphis has been very classy. They do demonstrations all the time because it happens here so often. It's crazy to think that there's a part of the world that's just now coming to this point in their lives. where they feel like they need to riot over some racial stuff because,
Well,
just
yeah, but
as an American, a mass shooting, a school shooting, a race-driven, police bus gone wrong is just daily life,
yeah, it's everyday shit.
everyday stuff. Like it's no big,
Yeah,
not that it's no big deal, but it happens so often. It's normalized here.
yeah, you're just desensitized to it.
You
I
know,
mean, that's what it was.
it 100%. Like we were. I went out to a club last Saturday, and
Oh, Nikki was up at the club.
it was so much fun from like 10 to 3 a.m., 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Anyway, we were getting onto Beale Street, and this guy was like arguing with the cop, and there like a fight broke out, and the cop, like he was trying to fight the cop, and we all looked over there and immediately just were like, nope, we don't see nothing. Kept walking because the police in Memphis will kill you. They don't care who you are. They don't care what race you are. They will.
No,
We were like, no, just keep walking.
yeah, it's better to keep your head down and see nothing.
Yeah.
I remember growing up in Northern Ireland. That was the first. That was the first thing you learned. If you ever see anything, what did you see? Nothing.
Nothing.
And you don't say nothing.
Yep, that's how it is here. Something's going down, you're just like, I don't see nothing. But you have to be very careful to see everything. Like,
Right.
so
The reverse is true, yeah, because your head's on a swivel. You're totally stressed out the whole time.
yeah,
But you're like, yeah, you don't want to be involved in anything because you don't want to be in
but
court
you
in
need to
the
keep
end.
an eye out on what's going on because, like, the place that we went, it's called the Tin Roof. It has been shot up before, and one of the people I was with was there when it was shot up. So when it's really crowded, she stays. You can go inside the building, and then behind the building is like a little patio. Not a little, it's a huge patio. Like there's beer pong and stuff like that out there, chairs and tables, and she stays out there because if a fight's going to break out, it's going to be in the little green room where everybody is dancing on top of each other.
Right.
And that's when people start, shanking or,
Yeah, you always got to know where Splitsville is, man, so you know how to get out.
Yeah, and that's how we spent our night is we danced a bit and then we would go back to the outskirts, and you always, especially Memphis, just keep an eye on the people around you. And it doesn't mean like, oh, that guy looks suspicious, but like if two people are starting to have an argument or whatever, just get away from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as an American, I think that you have to watch your back a lot more than.
Well, yeah, you have to do it all the time because you never know when somebody's
gonna.
To a
movie theater, someone might shoot it up. Can't go to school, someone might shoot it up. Can't go to church, someone might shoot it up.
Well, is the tin roof rusted?
No, it is not pregnant.
Okay. Is there a faded sign by the side of the road that says 15 miles to the Love Shack?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
screw that then.
Have you ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
Which one?
The
we got
first one.
red pussy, yellow pussy, we got black pussy.
It sounds like you're describing, the bar until like they all turn into vampires and start killing everyone.
I mean, essentially.
Yeah, but okay. I'm going to say this. Selma Hayek. That's all I'm going to have to say about that.
That's all I have to say. It was a great freaking movie. It's one of my favorite Quentin movies of all time. The show sucked, but the movie was great.
Yeah.
The show was awful.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to say even when I was in the late 1980s, 1990s, I did work in France quite a lot. And I would just say that there is a race war bubbling up. You know what I mean? It's like it's on boil all the time. And it's just at some point in time, somebody throws some spaghetti in it, it overflows.
Well, I mean, in the UK in general, right?
Well, I'm talking about France because I was working in France.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying in Europe in general, isn't it just a far more subtle racism, but it's definitely still there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely there. But I mean, I think it's more, I don't know. I think you can define it differently in Britain because it's all like lower class people or working class people all fighting over You know, they think of it as a zero sum gain. In other words, if this Italian guy or this Muslim guy moves into my neighborhood, he's going to take away my money. And that's it. There's only a certain amount of people that can own shops or whatever.
That's ridiculous.
Like, when the Panisars came in and then created empire, it's like somebody's going to say, yeah, those bastards are taking my job. You know what I mean? And they're standing over me like a hard man. I'm not putting up with that. And then, but the middle class folks, because they don't really ever associate with that group, and definitely the upper class they're never affected by it. You know what I mean? It's just like working class people scrapping over, fighting over scraps.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so basically the same as in America, just far more.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's not. I don't think it is a socioeconomic thing, but it's a class system thing.
Right.
And that's the thing I'll say about America is you're not supposed to have a class system. We do.
Oh, we absolutely.
But at least in Britain, what class you're in and how bad you're going to get screwed.
That's true. That's very true.
So in that case, it's actually a relief. You don't have that idea of this person who has this much money is going to go through the same thing that I am whenever I create a problem.
Right.
That's that whole idea.
Well, the important thing is we keep it contained in France and don't let it spread to a real country.
Yeah. Could you imagine what it'd be like if people learned how to speak French? Terrible.
I know a little bit.
Yeah. Richard won't let him do it. Anytime that they have even a commercial for French cheese or whatever, he just turns it off. So I'm not doing it.
Whereas I fist pump and go, hon, my baguettes.
Yeah. You wouldn't like it in Canada, brother, because they have like two languages on the packaging, French and English.
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's always been my main problem with Canada. Is can you really trust a country that's all French?
Yeah, I know that's the thing. But we do. I think that they have it fairly contained at this point in time.
Hey, I'm half French.
It's like it's like quarantined in Quebec. So
how did this whole situation go down where this cop shot this kid?
It's just a traffic stop. The kid ran. The cops followed him. They shot him.
See, I thought that they had like tasers and shit in those wussy countries instead of actual guns. Like, why couldn't
they do? They've got like they've got these really interesting tasers that look like shotguns.
Gas from all the cheese or something, and he couldn't chase the boy to get within tasing range. Like,
no, they've got long range tasers. They've got these things that look like shotguns.
Yeah.
No, not the pistol ones. They look like shotguns.
Oh. So why didn't they do that?
Well, that's the spot the riot. Yeah,
right,
that's
because it's not like y'all are America over there and you have cops that just shoot people willy-nilly. I mean, usually they just beat you to death with a bobby stick or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a special
in Canada, they just say, "Please get in the handcuffs."
Yeah, get in the handcuffs, eh? And then the guy, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry you had to chase after me, eh?
I'm sorry you had to chase. Yeah, and that's how it happens in Canada. So how
exactly.
Does it happen in England and in France? I mean.
Oh wait! The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're late, brother.
He made it.
Well, for half of it at least.
Yeah.
So what do you? I mean, but Richard, weren't they rioting last week? Before that, because they had changed the age of retirement from 63 to 65.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
there
think they
was.
were rioting. I think they were kicking off.
Well,
man!
yeah,
They
but what
weren't
I'm saying
rioting.
is they were protesting at that point in time, and it's just, you know how that is.
Do you know how many people in their 70s I know that are still working in America because they can't afford to freaking retire?
Yeah,
All of them.
yeah. As much as they say, France sucks. You know what I'm saying? You could still get your swerve on with your wife in your 60s and
Yeah.
not die of poverty and
Yeah.
medical problems. But screw that. They're basically socialists. That's it. That's how they say
They're
it.
French. That's all you need to know. It
Yes.
doesn't matter what their religious or spiritual or governmental viewpoints are. They're French. That's all you need to know about them.
We've already got one.
They surrender every time a German crosses the border. They eat baguettes. They munch garlic. They wear berets. They stand outside stores going, oh.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
And with
French.
black and white stripy t-shirts and drive around with onions around their necks and try to sell them off like 10-speed bicycles.
And frog's legs and escargot and all that other gross shit.
And
Escargot's delicious. Excuse me.
I've been to Paris. It's not the most romantic city on earth. It's a dump like every other city on earth.
Yeah, I just don't see the. I mean, the River Seine along the River Seine is nice, but to be honest with you, any cafe in Europe along along a river that goes through your town is pretty nice. Usually, the one in Dublin's awesome, and so
I'm going to Dublin. I will be there in October.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it'll be good for you.
And then I'm going to Kilkenny and Tipperary, and I'm going to go see the Cliffs of Insanity, which
right.
I'm going to take Richard with me, and he's never seen The Princess Bride, so that's a requirement before we go.
Well, you understand that, there's a line between Eastern Ireland and Western Ireland, and basically when you cross that line, it goes from happy cities and things like that to basically desolate waste ground whenever you try to the Eastern West line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean because everybody in Western Ireland has to move to the east to try to get a job because there's really no jobs in Western Ireland. So, like I said, whenever people always send that, that thing, oh yeah, you can buy this cottage online for 30 grand or something. It's in Western Ireland, probably in the middle of a field, which is good for some people.
My friend bought her house that has a separate servants' quarters almost. It's another cabin completely from her house.
Right.
A crap ton of land, $250,000.
Oh yeah.
Huge place, and she freaking loves it. I'm so jealous.
I think that we were looking at a pub, an old pub that had 7 rooms in it, and then the pub downstairs and a pool room and everything like that. Well, this is where Sam got it wrong. She goes, "It's got a pool." And I'm like, "No, that's a room for pool." And so, yeah, but it was like 250 grand, and you could go to it was really close to the seaside and everything like that, but it's just a huge thing. And you can buy that thing all the time.
Yeah, it was crazy. When I saw how much she spent for it and I saw the place, I was just like, you know how much that would go for here in the US?
Yeah.
Like an easy mill.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying though. I mean, you've got to realize that you're going to live out in the middle of nowhere for that much money. But it's fine because
beautiful though, man.
Yeah, it's fine because you got the internet and everything like that. I remember in Donegal, you could get a nice house for not a lot of money there, and it was right next to the ocean and all that. And it's just like they have high-speed internet and everything like that. Not like, again, you can buy a nice piece of property somewhere in America, but you're not going to get internet. You're not going to be able to do anything, and So.
I mean, that's how my sister is right now, where she's at. She's in out in the boonies, and they have to use their mobile hotspots to game or to watch anything on TV. It's really sad.
So I mean, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying, Richard? You know, I know they're French, but they can get on the internet.
Yeah, they're French. They can get on the internet and they can stop whining. There are people literally in America right now that are living here. We have to live here. Y'all get one kid shot up and you're sad. Like, why don't you come over here for a little bit?
No,
I'll just direct you to 2nd Street and you can stand out there for about 5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, they could go to New Orleans because some people speak French in New Orleans.
That's very true. They could.
Okay, Cajuns don't count as French. All right, Cajun food. No, Cajun food.
Why don't they count?
It's a mix of French and Haitian. What?
No. It's strictly Haitian. All right, they are exempt.
Absolutely not.
They are exempt. All right, because of their cool accent.
I can trace my lineage back to France.
Nicole Randall Perkins.
Yes.
Shut your dirty whore mouth. They are exempt.
You're not my real daddy.
I am. We did a DNA test.
Wow, that makes things real awkward then.
Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted, Cajun people are exempt from being French. Okay? And it's nice to have all 4 hosts of the show together for the first time in what?
Months.
4 months?
4 or 5 months. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Woohoo. So,
everybody missed me. It's okay.
Oh, we really did. We've all had to pull double time. It's been a pain in the backside.
Well, okay, but before we go any farther, your weekly story, Tom. What happened to you this week?
Oh, this week?
Did you a seagull in your bathroom or something?
No.
Richard caught a bat.
Oh yeah, that's clever.
Yeah.
Cool.
But we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to talk about what you did. What did you do?
Oh, well, not having been content with headbutting a table a couple of weeks ago, I decided to double down and take on a lamppost this week. I was just walking. Parked my car, and then it's just a quick walk across the car park, and another car pulled in behind me, and I sort of turned around to see who it was, and wasn't looking where I was going. And as I stepped up onto the pavement within our school grounds, I just turned around just in time to walk smack headfirst straight into a lamppost. And I've got this, and I was really quite stunned. It hurt like hell, but then I quickly managed to compose myself enough to walk into school and just carry on with the day as normal. It took me a while to find a first aider to just double check on me, but they just asked me the basic questions like, am I feeling dizzy? Honest? Are you sure? And that was about it.
What day is it?
Yeah. I just imagine him walking into a classroom filled with kids with blood streaming down his face.
Yeah, but you see, I totally get what Tom's going for. You do not want to show a classroom of kids that you've got any weakness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you walk in there, if you like, say for example, you're on the playground and he's trying to like step up onto the thing, and he hits a lamppost, that's enough. They're gonna like tease you about that forever. But if you've got to try to walk it off. That's the way. That's the way it is. It's not a big deal. You got to keep going.
I did.
And so that's what Tom tried to do. Yeah, I think you made the right move, mate. Because I can't imagine how bad of a roasting I would have got.
I mean, it really did hurt. I mean, I didn't run into it, but I mean, it's when you're really not expecting something, you don't brace yourself at all. You don't, and it's amazing how the strength of the impact. Put it this way: have you ever misjudged the number of stairs on a staircase? Like expected one
just
more.
Everyone, or is this just me?
Wow. Is this everyone that just you that fell down on the steps?
I fallen down the steps.
Yeah.
I fallen down the steps and got back up and laughed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like if say you're walking up and you're expecting one more step than there is, and you step up and it isn't there, and your foot goes down to the same level as the last foot was. That can really disorientate you, and you can totally fall forward. Well, it's like that when your body just isn't expecting it at all. You just, it really does. It does, just startle you. I mean, the same with walking downstairs. Have you ever walked downstairs and there's one fewer step than there is, and so one foot goes to the hallway at the bottom of the stairs, and then the other foot's expecting one more step, but it isn't, and it hits the floor 6 inches higher than you're expecting, and it totally your foot just sort of buckles, and you're not ready for it at all. And yeah, it was kind of disorientating like that. You're like a fly buzzing against the window, thinking, "What the fuck is this thing doing there?" You're like that for a moment because your body's just not expecting it.
I just got this picture of Tom hitting the light post or whatever, and then just being so stunned he hits it like 3 more times, like like a bead. He's like,
donk, donk, donk.
I think that you can probably see people hitting lampposts in any British town on a Friday night.
I mean, I didn't channel my inner Homer Simpson, which is the kind of thing he do. Yeah,
but outside any pub or bar, and sometimes they're nice looking women in their short mini skirts because they've been out all night, and then they just bounce off telephone.
I need to add this to my
watch on weekends just so I can laugh at the drunk people.
Well, yeah, when you go to Ireland, if you go to Dublin, and you go to the Temple Bar area, and at night, there's a good chance that you will hit a lamppost or something like that night.
I'm just adding this
to my... They're painted black. The thing about lampposts they're painted black. The thing about being in Ireland is at night is it's black.
Well, she's definitely going to be drugged and wake up handcuffed to an RV with the words "female companion" blaring out over it.
Oh, God.
She'll be stolen by the gypsies.
We can only hope.
Well, I've just I keep a list of my epic fails on my mobile phone.
Why?
Why?
Why would anyone?
Because it's Tom. That's why.
What?
Do you get it out in parties and show people?
Guys, look at this stupid shit.
Look at this stuff that I've really fucked up. Isn't this great?
Oh yeah, no. I plan to write a twisted autobiography at some point.
It's gonna be great. Listen, he can have his own twisted autobiography. Kevin doesn't have to have a short list. He's just like, shit at the Vatican, done. Shit myself at the Louvre, done.
Yeah.
Shit myself.
No, it's a valuable part of my cultural history.
Shitting across the globe.
You say anything to Kevin, he's like, yeah, I've shit there.
Well,
I've shit
myself there.
That's how I would do a dirty protest in Paris right now. I just say, why are you rioting when we could all just take a shit in the street right now?
Gordon,
they might join, man.
And make the police pick it up.
That's right.
Yeah. Dirty protest.
I like it.
That's an Irish thing. That's a Northern Irish thing. You remember that's why the IRA people protested back in the day.
Really? Did they just shit in the street?
Yeah, they just would shit and then smear it all over the walls of their cell.
Aww.
Yeah, they did that. They did a dirty protest, and then they did a really stupid hunger strike, which
the hunger strike.
Needless sacrifice only helps your enemy. It was a stupid way for Bobby Sands to work.
Right. And the thing about Bobby Sands is that he's sort of a martyr and everything like that. But the other time is it's like like on the other side of the spectrum, they came up with a song, like would you like a Burger King, Bobby Sands, or something like that, or whatever. Would you like a chicken supper, Bobby Sands, is what it was. And that's
ridiculous. The hunger strike was utterly pointless, and too many Too many young men died for absolutely no reason, and
that's right.
it was stupidity on both sides. I'm not siding with the IRA or the British government. It was stupidity on both sides.
No, and they still can't decide. Still can't decide what to do because I mean, I think that I know I'm talking out of school here as a person who has a very loyalist family, but why not? I don't understand why Ireland can't, Northern Ireland can't be part of the EU and just end it now, get it over with, and because Brexit screwed over Northern Ireland.
But there's a large portion of Northern Ireland that like being part of England. I mean,
but that's true. But at the same time, okay, whenever Brexit came in, brother, I could tell you that half of those people that says Ulster is British got Irish passports so they could go to other places in the EU and work or buy property and those. So there's a wee bit of hypocrisy there. Because, I know people that are heads up like, oh, I'm not, I'm staunchly British and everything like that. They have a sneaky wee Irish passport somewhere, brother. You know what I mean? Because we could get away with it. Northern Ireland's one of those only places in the world where you can have an Irish passport and a British passport, and that's totally fine. So, I mean, and that rule for that is, there's a lot of British people that ended up. It was so bad that they said that the amount of British people who were trying to get Irish passports at something like backed it up for like 6 months or a year. Like there was no way you were going to get an Irish passport because all the people who voted for Brexit and a lot of people who didn't, whenever they got sort of kicked out, remember whenever they were getting kicked out of Spain? So they didn't live in Britain, but they could vote in the Brexit thing. So they lived in Spain and then got kicked. They voted to get out of the EU, which the only reason they had the right to live in Spain because it was part of the EU and so is Britain. So they got kicked off their land in Spain and got moved back to the Britain. And they couldn't understand why that happened, even though they voted for Brexit. Does that make any sense? You know what
Brexit.
I mean?
Nothing about Brexit makes sense. Do you know a lot of bloody swallows vote for Brexit? And for the life of me, I'm just like, you realise that that's your winter plan scuppered, right? You're not going to be able to go to Spain if we Brexit because the Spanish hate us and want us out of their country.
Right.
I know a few people that used Brexit as a protest vote. They didn't actually want to Brexit, but they wanted to shit the establishment up, so they voted for it, assuming they would lose. But they actually got what they voted for, and they were like, "Oh crap!" I know several people, really do. Oh yeah, that's gonna be my. That's what I'm hoping to write one day.
Worse than all.
This is Tom's magnum opus book cover that he sent me over Facebook. So I think I'm going to use that as the thumbnail for this video.
I mean, you wouldn't believe how many times in life I still have this conversation. I'll weigh something up and I'll like water it down and water it down and water it down some more so it's as dilute as Bud Light. And then I'll not that I actually mind Bud Light, but hey. But then but they'll still say, "Oh Jesus Christ, Tom, I really did not need to know that." And I'm like, oh man.
Just remember, Tom, and from my perspective, it doesn't matter what you write, in what way whatsoever, it will offend people. So my thing about it is tell the truth, mate. You know what I mean? Don't water anything down. Just that's it. Warts and all.
Ordinarily, I would agree with Kevin, but in your case, Tom, water it down, and preferably don't say anything.
Actually,
that's not right. Yeah. That is what, Richard. That you say that. I know that you don't like Tom. I'm just going to turn that around on you.
Oh, believe me,
You're
Kevin,
using my own lines against me. That is
Yes.
genius.
my wife would be patting Richard on the back and high fiving him for that one. You know, just the amount of trouble I've got myself.
I don't mean I don't mean don't say anything ever. I mean just like when it comes to telling people in graphic detail about all your many fuck ups, maybe just dial it back a notch. You know, don't
Well, yeah, that would
don't
be
say I ran repeatedly into a lamppost. Say I bumped my head the other day.
You know what, Tom? You can not spare me the gory details. I love hearing every moment of it.
Yeah,
She
but
is a
what if
sadistic monster and takes great glee in your pain, Tom.
if somebody tells you, Richard, if you go out and you meet somebody down the village or whatever, your pub, if you go to a pub, right, and you're just like you talk to Tom and you say, what happened this week, Tom? And he says, oh, I bumped into a lamppost. You're going to think that's weirder than I was trying to do something and I smacked into a lamppost and it hurt. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? You're going to say, well, why are you even telling me the first one? You bumped into a lamppost. That's not a story.
Oh, I mean, some of these stories are absolutely harmless. I mean, here's a good example. Okay, putting it through the filter. Yeah, I really am fine with this one. Kevin, you know, you said, was it your wife got confused between a pool room and a room that would have a swimming pool in?
Yes.
Well, in a similar bit of confusion, we when Hannah and I got married in 2000 and it's either 7 or 8. It was.
Oh, you're in trouble now, brother. That just
I know.
If she's listening to this, you just married.
Listen, as someone who forgot my anniversary this year and messaged him 5 days later and was like, "Oh yeah, happy belated anniversary," and he's like, "Oh shit."
Well, he forgot as well, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we always forget. We never remember. We're
so it was 2007, and what happened was when we were booking it was the ceremony and reception were in the same place. It was this gorgeous pub out in a little village not too far from here called Wingham, and when the guy was putting the thing together and sending us the bill, I mean, they're actually pretty upper crust, and we didn't, or pretend not to be, but their prices are kind of place. And we when we got, come on, Tom, concentrate. We got the bill through. Hannah looked at it and she said, "This is massive, and it's got an extra £1,000 for canapes." And I said, "An extra £1,000 for canapes?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "But it isn't going to rain." And she goes, "Oh, well, never mind that, but we don't want canapes, do we?" I said, "No." I said, "Great." And then a little while later, Hannah was recounting this to my mum, and she said it again. She said, "Yeah, and so Jenny, we've got this ready £1,000 for canapes, and we don't want to pay that." And I said, "Yeah, and it isn't like it's going to rain." And Hannah goes, "Tom, why do you always move on to the weather whenever we talk about this?" And my mum joins the fucking dots, and she goes, "Darling," and she's laughing so much she can barely speak. She goes, "It doesn't mean canapes, she means canapes. They're like plates of food, not things that keep out the weather, not like a giant gazebo." And Hannah finally twigs as well, and she laughs. Cheers for that caption. Yeah, and so anyway, one of the funniest, the upshot of it all was when we said we weren't going to pay it, the guy just said, "Oh, well, I don't want my place to have a skanky reputation that doesn't do canapes at weddings, so we're going to throw them in for free." So we got these people carrying around these little plates of shrimps and stuff like that. It was before I went vegan, and we got all that
back
for free.
in the good old days when you weren't disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, what?
Right. So did it rain that day?
No.
Okay, well that's good.
Listen, I have to be honest, Tom. I would have not understood what the fuck they were talking about either. Just being honest, I would have not understood.
Yeah, I've hung out with enough people at things. That's how I learned what a canapé was versus a canopy. I've been lucky enough to be awkward in those situations myself.
Yeah, that would have happened to me. I would have been awkward.
Yeah. But that's how you learn. That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. I had an embarrassing moment with a woman once because I didn't know what chicken fillets were.
Okay. How did that cause embarrassment?
She was talking about chicken fillets, and of course I was like, "Oh, you're getting them out of the fridge," and she gave me this look of absolute, what's the word? Condescension.
Right.
Because I didn't know they were the things you put in your bra to make your boobs look bigger.
Yeah, but that's contextual. I mean,
it absolutely
that is not.
I
You
wouldn't
would
know what she was talking about.
a chicken fillet in America would be a chicken fillet. You know what I mean?
I've only just learned that 5 seconds ago.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
no,
I feel
yeah,
less stupid.
absolutely.
She had no right to give you condescension over something that the industry doesn't call them. That's a colloquial slang word for them.
The trouble is, you know that the law of averages dictate that somewhere, some poor woman has been stupid enough to actually think that what you're supposed to do is get a raw chicken fillet and shove it in your bra and stick it in there and have it being smelly and uncomfortable all day long.
Right.
You know someone somewhere has done it at some point in relatively recent human history.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Richard, you should have just asked her. She should have said, well, that's good because I'm a poultry inspector. You better get a light and let me look at them.
Kev, nice.
Classic. Come on, Kev. Come on.
You're such a creeper.
Such a creeper.
That's just an Irish pickup line or something.
No, you could have had a chat up line saying, "Did you know that there's a known occupation called a chicken sexer?" And I know for a fact there is because during my A levels there was a pamphlet or a book of potential careers, and chicken sexer was one of them in this little book. It's freely available for our aspiring.
I read chickens. What's up?
I read it just needs to split them up into male and female.
I know what it means.
Yeah, but
I'm over 50, so my interpretation. I mean, Benny Hill was still on the television as a first time program when I was a child, and that was a lot of how we looked on sex and women and everything like that. So,
the very first time you had sex, you chased a woman around to a wacky soundtrack.
Yeah. She took over my bowler hat and smacked me on the top of the head.
Chased her around the park bench first.
Tonight's the night, babe. Let me put some music on to set.
Yeah. Have you heard it's Yakety Sax if you want to look it up.
Yes, I know that is the name.
Dolly Parton played it at Glastonbury a few years ago. That was cool.
But I mean, I'm not giving you. I mean, people have to move on from that. But I'm just saying, I wasn't trying to be. I'm trying to adapt is what I'm trying. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like one of those guys and where like kids just say, "Oh, that's their generation." They won't, they'll stop. They'll stop. It's like what we used to say about our grandfathers. Oh, he's just a racist because that's their generation.
It was a different time.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not a different time.
Really,
we had that sort of 50 years in between, but now we're regressing. My opinion.
I agree.
Well, it's been nice having you all here together again.
Yeah.
One night only. Nice to reunion. But that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. And it's good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Cheerio.
Wait. We didn't discuss EastEnders this week.
Well, nothing. Yeah, nothing happened on the show.
Nothing happened though.
Nothing good. Everybody just sort of worried about. Everybody's sort of worried about who these kids' mom was. The kids that live in the thing.
They've already
talked about. They still had Lola on. We're still post Lola.
Well, we had the funeral this week, so that's got to be it. That's got to be the end.
No, dude, because listen, we had the funeral and then Lola's been making tapes for apparently everything. So, you
Like
know,
6 months from now, Jay, if you're watching this, you found my secret.
all right.
All right, yeah, nothing really happened. So we will return next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.